Hey everyone, it's Katie and Elisha from NowThatWe'reAFamily.com, and today we are going to share with you some screen-free activities that we are currently really enjoying.
Yeah, so these are indoor activities. We've got props, folks, for this video. But these are indoor activities because we are always looking for new indoor activities. We love being outside, that is great. But sometimes you want something to just do 15 minutes here or in the evening there, and you don't want to do the same old things.
Yeah, as like Katie mentioned, we love being outside and that's where we spend a vast majority of our family time. But with fall approaching and with the cooler times ahead of us, we know we're going to be spending less hours outside, and we want to be prepared with fun activities that the kids can go to because, like Katie said, I don't even know if you said this, so I'll just go ahead and take credit for what I'm about to say, okay? I'm going to stop referring to Katie. No.
Okay, what are you gonna say?
With colder weather, when the rain comes, when the snow comes, it is so easy just to resort to putting a show on or putting a movie on. And since we don't want that necessarily to be a part of our routine and our rhythms, we have to have activities prepared ahead of time the kids are looking forward to, that we know we enjoy, so that we can fall back on those.
And also, this has been super helpful because we are 3 weeks postpartum right now, so we have a new baby. I've been sitting around inside a lot more than usual. I haven't been able to take the kids to the park like we usually do or go on our bike rides like we usually do. So these have been fun activities to do while I'm sitting on the couch nursing. It keeps the other kids engaged, and we're kind of able to multitask, or in our evenings when we're closer to home, we're able to do some of these things as well. So that has been a really big blessing. I didn't know if we would be able to keep up our goal of being screen-free through the postpartum season, but it has honestly been a piece of cake. And I think a lot of that is due to having other activities to keep the children engaged while I'm just sitting around a lot. The Abeka Bible stories. Now, I grew up on these, so I have a very soft spot in my heart for them. I don't know why, but it is just so much more fun to learn about a Bible story when you have these big pictures. Basically, it's just a really fun way you hold up the picture and you read the story, and the kids really love these stories. You maybe do like 5 or 6 pictures, they stick in your mind, and they're just beautiful illustrations. And so it's fun to be able to go through these, and I feel like they really make the Bible come alive to the kids.
Yeah, and aren't there 2 versions? You can get like the book, or you can get these cards, Katie. How does that work?
Yeah, so the ones that you'll find on the Abeka store they're kind of new and uncool versions. They are not improved. And it's basically like a little flip chart, but the pictures are really tiny and cramped, and they don't capture the kids' attention, at least my children's attention. Whereas,
I love these. These ones, because I actually don't do this
beautiful.
often with the kids, but if I happen to walk through the living room and Katie's doing this, they catch my attention just because of the beauty and the detail of the illustrations. And I think like the size helps with that. Mm-hmm. They really capture your attention. You're like, wow, that's not just a little booklet. Like there's nothing little about that. And so I'm going to look at it.
Yeah. So anyways, that's something that we've really enjoyed for a long time, and it's something we are currently enjoying right now.
One of the more recent things that we have introduced to our children, this is as of like 2.5 weeks ago, is chess. Katie ordered a chess set a while back, and since the day of its arrival, this is a tournament-sized chessboard. And I really like that this is it's a cheap set. I shouldn't say cheap, affordable, because it's there's nothing cheap about it. It's durable and it's quality.
The pieces are really heavy, but you're nice.
Yes. They are weighted pieces, exactly. And the board, it's very easy to store. So oftentimes I would view, like, like the cool looking chess sets, people have those on display. And whenever somebody has a cool looking chess set on display with kids, well, you're going to lose pieces. And also it's just going to start looking cluttery after time. And so for this season in our life, we don't want some artistic looking piece of art that's our chess set that we're going to have out on the the living room table all the time. We wanted something that was really durable. We could throw it in a bag, throw it in a box, put it in the closet, and then the kids could take it out. Again, this is a really common set. The pieces are really common, so if we do lose pieces, we haven't done that yet, it'll be really easy to replace them. Those are a bunch of random details, but those are things that I care about, and so that's why I shared them. But it's been a blast playing chess in the evening, and of course, our kiddos, they're not that skilled yet at chess. I'm not gonna lie. Katie and I both have no problem defeating each and every one of our children whenever we play them. And I think we both kind of like that at this point. But Katie and I tell you what, that is true competition between Katie and myself. This game of strategy and tactics is in full force here in our home. And we liked it. Well, I say we like it because I'm still coming out on top each time we play.
He still wins every time.
But this has been a great game for the whole family. And it's such a good example of how when you get excited about something as a parent, your children, especially when they're young, they get excited about it. And it's always sobering to see how much influence I have in what my children think is cool and what they get excited about. And I stand by getting them excited about chess. It's a great game for their development and a lifelong skill that I hope they develop.
Yeah, so Elisha was part of a chess club for a period of time, so he already valued it. But I got the chess set because I initially wanted it to be a part of the kids' homeschool and just to improve their logic and strategic thinking and things like that. We have a 6-year-old and a 5-year-old that play on their own. Our 4-year-old doesn't quite play on his own yet. But it's been a really fun thing for us to do in the evenings as a family, and that's the kids' current favorite thing to do is a chess tournament.
Because it's the kids' favorite thing to do, we incentivize them to learn how to set it up. And so, again, we don't want to add to our to-do list necessarily as parents, but while we're cleaning the kitchen, oftentimes we'll look over and the kids have taken the chess set out and they're setting up chess without us saying anything. And then also they know how to put it away and put it away carefully so that they're taking responsibility for it. Like, we put it on them. Like, okay, well, if you want to play, get it set up. And then when they're done, they know that they're responsible for taking it down as well.
Well, last year we did a whole video on how to teach kids knitting, and that'll be linked in the description box below. But this year, my son, the weather just started cooling down, and my 6-year-old came to me and it was like, "Mommy, where's my knitting?" So it was like perfect timing. I was glad he was back into knitting. So I brought some of the kids' knitting just to kind of show you what they're currently doing. This is my 5-year-old's little scarf that she's knitting, and Louis, our 4-year-old, just started doing it on his own. And so he's just got, a little thing going here, but he can do it on his own. And so that makes him really happy. And then our 6-year-old just started knitting with circular needles, and he is knitting a blanket for his baby brother. So this is his project that he's currently working on. He just finished a long old scarf that he was knitting, I don't know, like an hour and a half a day.
Yes.
It's really nice when you have something that engages all your kids. And again, I just sit on the couch and nurse, and they 3 line up, get out their knitting and knit. And then when someone has a hang up, they bring it over to me, I fix it, and they keep going. And it's just so wonderful because I have 4 kids sitting there with me and they're all engaged. And, Lawrence just runs around.
Yes.
That's a good time. But knitting has been a really big blessing for our family in the colder months.
Something we've jumped back into is consistent music lessons with Leon and Lucy, so our 6-year-old and our 5-year-old. So this includes fiddle lessons with them and then piano lessons. And something that we're really excited about actually is that Katie has been using our online music academy, Voberg Music Academy's piano course, to teach our kids piano, and we've been loving it. I always knew Katie's sister Kelsey was a phenomenal teacher, and the kids had an opportunity to have some in-person lessons with her last year, but she doesn't live in the area anymore. And so when we decided that we wanted to get our kids going with piano again, we're like, well, why don't we see if we can do the online music academy with the kiddos. And the reason we were unsure is because of how young the kids were. We thought, okay, well, these online lessons work for a 6-year-old and a 5-year-old. And granted, Katie is involved in this process, but not nearly as much as we thought she was going to need to be. Katie will sit down for a couple minutes at the beginning of each lesson and kind of help them get oriented, and then she can leave them for them to go through the lessons. And it's the same type of thing. If they've got an issue or a hang up, they find her and they ask for help, but they're able to learn on Votberg Music Academy, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so actually I was really at a impasse because the kids are asking me for piano lessons, and I know how well my sister plays, and I love how she could just hear any song and play it. She's not restricted to music, and her students learn so fast. And so I was like, I really don't want anyone to teach you aside from Kelsey, but we only recommend VMA for students that are 8 years old and up. And so I didn't really know what to do. So basically, like, I'm teaching the kids with my sister's music program.
Yeah, her method.
Yeah, with her method, I guess. I'm able to kind of dumb it down a little bit for a younger age level. And it's been so rewarding because after one day, the kids are playing their first song with all the notes on the piano, all 8 notes, instead of, me when I was learning piano, and I don't think I got past like C, D, E for weeks. So it's really been rewarding. And then you teach them fiddle lessons.
Yeah, and the fiddle is one of those things that ebbs and flows. In the summer, like many things, we got out of the habit of doing this on a regular basis. But as fall's coming, the kids know we've got our Christmas concerts in December, and they want to be a part of those Christmas concerts with their cousins. And so they are eager to get on, to get on it with their practice and with their learning. And so they're already motivated. So it's really easy for me to capitalize on that and bring my fiddle out and start teaching them once again.
And because, again, we're in a postpartum season and we just have 5 little kids, we aren't going to be running our kids around to a lot of extracurricular activities. So it's a big blessing to be able to do this in our home. And when you teach your kids a skill, then they can do it on their own. So it takes work up front to like teach them chess or teach them knitting or teach them how to play a musical instrument. But then they go in and sit down and play their songs on their own, and they're engaged, and you aren't having to come up with something for them to do. So in the long run, it saves you a ton of time. Okay, something else that we've done that's really fun is paper Sloyd. So I first heard about this through all the Charlotte Mason lovers, and it's basically it's like geometry, but yeah, geometry. Math wasn't my forte, but it has to do with a lot of measuring and cutting, and the kids make objects out of paper. So they'll make things like a pinwheel or an envelope, and it's really good for them to learn how to follow the instructions down here. It's really good for me to figure out how to follow the instructions. And then attention to detail, because if they don't cut the paper right and they don't measure right, then their objects don't turn out. So I just feel like this is a really good life skill, even though they aren't going to be doing it with paper. Hopefully one day they'll be sewing or maybe doing woodworking or things that take that attention to detail and that focus on measurement and the pieces all fitting together. And so paper Sloyd has been a really fun way to do this. Our 5 and 6-year-old love doing this. And again, once I've gone through a project with them, then they can build it on their own. So they will get their piece of paper, measure, cut it, and build during nap times or quiet time. And again, I don't have to be there all the time.
Yeah, I've loved to see the kids' development using this. I didn't know this existed.
I didn't
Paper
either.
Sloyd. Like, is that a real word? Sloyd? What the heck? And so when they started showing me these crafts that they were creating, I was blown away with the level of detail, attention to detail that it required. And it made me really excited because I'm not much of a craftsman at all. When I say not much, I mean not at all. So I'm not much at all of a craftsman. And so seeing my kids develop these skills, learning to measure twice and cut once is something that I never really understood. I just kept cutting until I needed a new board and would go to Home Depot and replace the board. But kids learning these concepts and realizing angles, learn how to measure, I feel like is a really good skill, I should say, that they're acquiring that they'll enjoy for their whole life. Something that has been fun to see our kids get kind of like a second wind in or a renewed interest in is the magnetiles and then the railroad tracks that they play with, and then even Lego that they've had these things. I think they had them all last year. I don't even think we've added to our collection of Lego or magnetiles. But once again, in this postpartum season, there's been this renewed interest, and the kids have developed quite a bit since the last time they were playing with these. And so their designs, what they're able to do is so much more creative, and it's more, I guess, technical. And so Katie and I get a blast now out of seeing our kids play with these things. They play together better than ever. It's fun now that our 2-year-old Lawrence, who used to be the guy, going around and ruining everybody's creation, he's now really interested in building on his own. So he'll be in his own corner, building whatever designs or whatever formations he has in mind. And then each one of the kids has their little section of the living room rug. And you and I in this postpartum season have enjoyed hours of uninterrupted conversation simply due to Lego, Magnetile, and the railroad tracks.
Yeah, and it's really fun seeing them collaborate too, because they build these cities and they take out the tracks and the Magnetiles. And I think it's fresh every time they come out because their development has improved. And so they're like in a whole new place. It's like a whole new toy, because before they could only build a box, and now they're building all these cool structures, and they get to do it with all their siblings now.
Yes.
So it's really fun. I do think something that keeps these fresh are they aren't toys that they can access whenever they want. So if you see our toy video, which we can link down below, they are stored up high and they have to request a parent to get them down for them. And so they're kind of out of sight, out of mind, unless a child gets interested in them or has a quiet time and we suggest that they play with that thing. And so it keeps them fresh for a lot longer than if they were just sitting around all the time. And likewise, Lego, it's not in our living room, it's downstairs, it's out of the way. So they kind of have to go journey down to find it. And I think that that's something that has kept those toys interesting for years now.
No doubt.
Okay, so teaching your kids how to read is, it's a life skill, but also you buy yourself so much time once they do know how to read, and we're just starting to tap into that with our 6-year-old. And he was kind of fighting me on reading. It was becoming laborious. It was no longer exciting. And so I remember that I liked these Nate the Great books when I was a kid, and it's like a beginner's chapter book. And obviously there's a lot of easy readers out there, but like Little Bear and Frog and Toad were not capturing his interest at all. Nate the Great's, he's a little detective. He's a great detective. He's funny. He's got a dry sense of humor, and it's a real plot. It's a real story. And so Leon gets really interested in solving the mysteries while he's reading them. He gets a kick out of Nate the Great's humor. And now he reads these on his own over and over and over and over because he loves them so much. And he's so proud that he can read a real book on his own. And so that's been something that has been so fun, because it went from trying to fight him to read for about 15 minutes to him reading for over an hour to himself or reading to his siblings. And so whenever you find like a breakthrough book, I think it's different per kid, but if you have a young son, I would highly suggest the Nate the Great series. We have 10 of them now, and I think we're gonna get all of them before we move on to something else, because they really just were a breakthrough for our son.
Well, that's it. We have concluded all of the activities that we are currently enjoying that do not include a screen. I will say though, Voberg Music Academy, that's on a screen. I didn't realize that till just now.
Yeah, you're right. But I think like once we've gone through the lesson, they play the piano on their own.
Yes.
And so I feel like you're right, it's on a screen.
Wow.
So we just have to say that. But for the amount of time you're spending on a screen, I will say the payoff is great, because I would say I sit down with them for a lesson at the beginning of the week with the video instruction, and then they practice the piano daily just on their own. I think that's why I thought of it as a screen-free activity.
Take a good look, folks, because this is what hypocrites look like.
Anyways, I hope that gave you guys some good ideas for just right now, if your kiddos are close to our children's ages, what we're currently loving. What are some of your favorite screen-free activities? We're always interested in new ones as our children phase in and out of interests. We love to expose them to a lot of different things, and we want them to have a lot of different skill sets as they grow up to be able to engage themselves off of media and screens. So I hope that was helpful, and we will catch you next Thursday.
Bye-bye. Hey everyone, I want to take a quick moment to tell you about our online music academy called VotebergMusicAcademy.com. Katie and I actually started this online music academy 7 years ago, and over that time we've been able to see thousands of students go through our courses and learn how to play the guitar, the mandolin, the fiddle, the piano, the ukulele, and bring music into their home. And we really curated these lessons so that you're able to learn with your child, or you're able to learn by yourself and then bring music into your home and play with your kiddos. We even have it so that you can, subscribe to one course and have 3 of your kids take the same course. So it's really cost effective and you're able to go at your own pace and bring music into your home. Go to VotebergMusicAcademy.com and check this out. Okay, listen up. This is where it gets really good. If you enter the coupon code YouTube at checkout, you will get 10% off each month's payment, because it's a subscription. It's a reoccurring payment. So if you put that code in, then it's 10% off each month. So that can really add up over time. So bring some music into your family's home. Go over to VotebergMusicAcademy.com. I'll link it below. And you guys put in that coupon code and go learn how to play some piano, guitar, fiddle, mandolin, ukulele, your choice.